Hello and welcome to Geoengineering Free Canada. My name is Bettina Engler and I am with Geoengineering Free Canada. We are a group of people that have decided to tackle the geoengineers, the geoengineering fear pushers, and the geoengineering misconception. In this short introduction, we provide you with a guideline to understand the difference between geoengineering, weather modification, and the lines in the sky. We would like to encourage you to look up without fear, without mis and disinformation in your head, but with a bucket full of information researched over decades, and plus the receipts. Please stick around if you wish to learn the truth. Let's get right into geoengineering, the misconception. Not everything you see in the sky is geoengineering. There is atmospheric aerosol injection, contrails versus chemtrails, cloud seeding. Geoengineering is not the lines in the sky or cloud seeding. Stratospheric aerosol injection, SAI. Solar radiation management as one of the geoengineering types mainly confused with chemtrails by definition means the attempt to reflect sunlight back into space and include a range of ideas, from orbiting mirrors, tons of sulfates dumped into the stratosphere, and modifying clouds, plants, and ice to make them reflect more sunlight. More information on climateviewer.com. Now that we have arrived in the stratosphere, let's look around and discover what it means to be way up high in the second layer of the atmosphere around the Earth. The stratosphere starts at approximately 40,000 feet, just right above the ozone layer, the dividing line between the troposphere and the stratosphere, also called the tropopause. What do we see here is that the temperature is lower and there is no humidity that would contribute to cloud formation. In other words, there is no clouds and no lines visible. But the private jets, the military aircrafts, and some of the commercial aviation, only when they fly up into the stratosphere, create the milky white skies. Why? Because the jet fuel, kerosene, particulates mainly soot, sulfur, carbon black, dumped into the stratosphere stay up to 2 years and reflect sunlight back into the sky. This is geoengineering. Chemtrails or contrails. Dropping into the troposphere means below the ozone layer where clouds form due to certain criteria called atmospheric conditions or weather. Aircrafts burning jet fuel through high bypass turbofan engines that emit mainly water vapor create persistent, sometimes visible clouds and trails. Those contrails leave the lines in the sky filled with also other nanoparticulates such as aluminum, strontium, etc. Have they been sprayed? No. This is simply physics. And please call it what it is: pollution. In order to determine if there is a cloud, a artificial cirrus cloud or trail or line in the sky, please consider temperature, dew point, altitude, ice supersaturated regions, They're spraying us like bugs. Not. The spraying, in fact, is happening during the combustion process of the jet fuel. Fuel gets sprayed into the combustion chamber and then certainly sprays out as exhaust, jet exhaust, filled with heavy metals and soot. There is no switch on the dash in the cockpit of a commercial aircraft. Are contrails chemtrails and chemtrails contrails? I give you a moment to read through this summary provided by an ex-military weather expert. Clouds versus artificial clouds. A few pictures taken of clouds or artificial clouds. Are they artificial? Or are they not artificial, not necessarily artificial? This one in the middle definitely is artificial cirrus cloud. I took that picture when an aircraft was flying above my head. And here is blocking out the sun. Look up, but look up without fear. What we see, what we don't see, and why. How to predict the sea trails, contrails, chemtrails. There's a website called windy.com. You can install a Windy plugin called Contrail Finder. And this is what it looks like. Whenever you click on one of these areas, wherever you are located, a list will pop up, the list you can see on the right-hand side, which tells you exactly what altitude you will find minimal or longer, persistent, short contrails, and all that's based on the Appelman-Schmidt criteria. Cloud seeding. Cloud seeding happens at a very, very low altitude. Because of that low altitude and the higher temperature, no clouds or lines in the sky can form. These aircraft inject the clouds with chemicals, mainly silver iodide, to make them rain off. But they do not spray either. Cloud seeding is clearly weather modification. And this is what it looks like. You all have seen these pictures of the flares mounted on the wings of aircrafts. And on the bottom right, this is a ground-based cloud seeder. You may have watched Lyndon B. Johnson's famous speech, "He who controls the weather controls the world." That was back in the 1960s, where they have already been talking about weather control. Can they really control the weather? I'm not sure. Mother Nature is far more powerful than any one of us. Here is a summary of what we have just been talking about. Stratosphere, troposphere, the dividing line, that dotted line is the dividing line, the tropopause, the ozone layer, and what is happening, what altitude. And also keep in mind that 45 plus million flights per year create clouds, artificial clouds, the lines in the sky. And most of that is pollution. Cloud seeding is not chem or contrails and does not create clouds. Cloud seeding is weather modification by injecting clouds with chemicals. The lines in the sky are contrails and create clouds, higher altitudes. SAI injects the stratosphere with sulfur, soot, and eventually rains off as acid rain. All SRM technologies are harmful and create pollution and or reflect sunlight back into the sky. And here is a summary again of all the layers around the Earth and what type and kind of modification, weather modification, or geoengineering is happening where. Thank you. The skies must be blue again. The Canadian skies must be blue again. We oppose all methods of geoengineering, which include polluting our skies with chemicals or making clouds to block sunlight. You cannot solve pollution with more pollution. We want to see these guys fly. We want to see these guys providing and supplying us with beautiful honey. For more information, kindly consider to jump on geoengineeringfreecanada.com. You will find all kinds of interviews with high-profile anti-geoengineering activists, but mainly our good friend Jim Lee, climateviewer.com. Thank you for watching.